Assalamu alaikum. Mostly welcomed everybody. Once again we meet for the purpose of the database security practical side. Today actually I'd like to start with presenting you the main concept of the practical. As you have read from the guide, the main topics and the objectives of this practice is to isolate and raise up the level of isolation when doing transactions. Actually, whenever we talk about building a project, we talk about transactions to be passing from APIs to the background to the back-end solutions, and vice versa, responses from the back-end to the front-end APIs, and so on. So the isolation is the context of making transactions invisible or somehow secured, and information is assured inside, and so on. So what we expect to do today behind of this practice is to build up stored procedures inside the SQL server, and we build actually, we'll talk about CLR stored procedure, and we will build actually stored procedure inside the Visual Studio, inside the API, to interrogate the stored procedure inside the SQL server, and we'll make an output. Actually, the transactions of this practice would be, we'll just talk about let's say display retrieve means data retrieve, and we'll talk about let's say insert of data means from back end to the front end display, and from front end to the back end, which is insert. Let's get started. We are actually I insist on the topic, which is isolation level, whatever. Bismillah. So immediately I'll start with a new creating a new web app. Visual Studio, file new app, empty web app using C# as of our context. I'm going to change the name and the title of this project. See what I'm doing now. I'm changing only the folder name or the directory name or the project name. I want to give the name isolation raised. CLR. Good. Isolation level raised CLR. Good. It's user defined name, no more, no less. Good. The first thing I want to do, I'm going to create my database inside. Right click, add a new item. C#. I'm going to create a database. This is the SQL Server database. I'm going to give it the name sales.mdf. I'm not modifying the extension. Here he's asking us to create the app folder. Automatically I'm going to say yes. Good. My database has been appeared in the Server Explorer and in the Solution Explorer. Actually the folder, the app directory, the app data directory has been generated too. Very good. Database is not connected. I'm going to refresh. It has been connected. Khalas. See the green icon. My tables, nothing is there. Refresh, nothing is there. My stored procedures here, nothing is there also. Okay, I'm gonna start. No objects means here, and the main objects for today, we need tables, entities, and we need procedures. So this is the main purpose of today. Let's interrogate this database. Right click, new query. Maximize this screen. I'm gonna start by creating a procedure that helps us to create a first table. Create procedure, spelling. Create procedure. I'm gonna say give it a name new table. The procedure will help us to create tables, so I'm giving the name new table. It's user defined as a new line. The SQL command, which is create table, give it a name, users, open parenthesis, ID, which is an int, name, which is varchar 50. Let me write everyone in a line. Good. New line, and I'm gonna say contact, or I'm gonna say email. Also it's a varchar, but 100, let's say. Okay. I'm gonna close what I have opened as a table. Here, no semicolon. Here, I started this one. I'm closing it here. Now, new line, go. To finalize what? Go. The creation of the procedure. So, highlight, execute. Command successfully completed. Come back to the Server Explorer, store the procedure, right click, refresh to check. Here it is. New table, the one we created. It is here, new table. It is the one that will create, actually once we execute, it will create us this table. What does it mean? Did we have a table new? No, so far no. So far no. Because we have the procedure that does that. We have the procedure that does that. But this procedure did not yet has been executed. Right click, I'm gonna say execute. From here, or as per the theory we saw in the class, we will do exec space what? Exec space procedure name, which is new. I'm gonna say خلاص appeared. I'm gonna select it from here. Then go. Again, I'm gonna highlight, execute, complete successfully. Come back to my tables, right click, refresh. Here is my table. Why I came back to the table? Because it is to do it. It is doing it. This is the role of this procedure. This procedure we created, it does only create a table named users. We got this table. Finish. We did it. We did it. As per now, we finished from this one. We no more need this script. We may delete. We may completely delete, because خلاص, the role we needed, we achieved it. Finish. I may close without saving, even without saving. The script has been disappeared, but the objects, I have them. I already had my objects. Full stop. Means now if I want to see the script I did now and modify, I have to rewrite it again. No more, no less. Good. From the server side now, let's say I reached the end, but I'm going to create another procedure to achieve, because as I told you earlier, we are going to create two procedures. So yes, two functionalities we are going to achieve, which is the display and the insert. I'll start with the display. I'll start with the display. Display what? Whatever is inside this table. So on this database, new query, I'm gonna create another procedure. Create procedure. I'm gonna give disp users. This user defined as select star from table name, which is the users. Go. Okay, select, highlight. Okay, execute. Completed successfully. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means I come back to my stored procedure, refresh, I will find a second procedure named disp users. This is the one. It has been, it came here. Disp user, new one. Good. This stored procedure, what does it do? If I execute it, I have to display this one. I'm gonna do that. How to execute this procedure? Again, exec disp, the same spelling, no? Yes, here it is. Go. Execute. The table with the shape, ID, name, email. It's empty, nothing is there. Successfully executed. If I come back to the table here, users, I have ID, name, email. the same we got here, ID, name, email. Yeah, by only executing this procedure. That's very good. We complete the process of this display by creating the second part, which is the API part, and then after we'll come back to create the insert procedure. Let's move to the Solution Explorer here. Khalas, from this one actually we no more need them. Close for now. Yes, yeah, because the object we have our object, this user. Finish. I come back here. I'm going to create a new interface. Add new item on the solution on the root folder. Add new item. C#. It would be web form. Yes, web form. I'm going to change the name to home. Home.spx. Minimize the view. Yes, this design. In this interface, I'm gonna insert. I'm gonna just gain a little bit of space, and then after here, I'm gonna insert a grid view, which I'm gonna utilize to display what would be brought to me by the as a result by the user's procedure. So I'm gonna insert from data. I'm gonna insert a grid view. I believe, yeah, this is the one, grid view. It is very fruitful for me. It will be very beneficial. Yes, so I'm going to leave it like it is. I'm not going to do anything. I can modify. I'm not going to do anything. Just I'm going to save my file. The star, yes, saved. Finish. What is the name of this procedure? It's grid view 1. I will not do anything on this procedure. I can do styling and other modifications, but for now I'll keep it like such to reach the main service, the main engine activity, and then after we'll talk about how to design it. Good. I'm going to insert a button here to be the action trigger, to be the trigger of our behavior here. Means if I click the button, the display would happen. The call of the stored procedure, and the stored procedure we call the CLR stored procedure, to display the data from the users inside the grid view. Button. This is it. I'm going to maximize a little bit. I'm going to say properties, then change the text to disp or display users. I'm going to say display users. Good. Immediately double click on this button because it is the event handler. Double click, 2 clicks exactly, not more. I'm inside the button 1. Here inside, I'm inside the button 1. It is button 1, this one. Name is button 1. Here it is. So come back, button 1. What I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna do a connection. I'm gonna activate a connection in between the API, what I have here in this Solution Explorer, and this Server Explorer here. So I start with the SQL connection, but I'm not gonna do it here in this the connection, because I'm gonna utilize it everywhere. Well, let's do it here first. SQL connection. I do not have any SQL connection. It's not appearing to me. SQL connection. It's not visible from the list here. What does it mean? It means there is something missing. Actually, the two libraries responsible for the for this SQL connection is the system data, the system dot data, yes, and the system again. It's data but dot SQL client. Good. SQL client. Full stop. Those two libraries, they are responsible for doing connections. I redo it again. SQL connection. Khalas, it appears now. It is there. Here it is. SQL connection. I'm gonna create a connection and give it any name. Just it's user defined variable that has to vault. That has to vault exactly what I need as a value, which is a new object. Let me get space. A new object from the SQL connection itself, and this SQL connection here in between parentheses, I'm gonna give it the path to the database. The path to the database. So this variable, which is user defined, it would store where is my database. What are the objects of my database? So I'm gonna go to the database. This is my database. Right click, properties, and I'm gonna choose the connection string. This is the one. This path here, the path here, I'm gonna copy it. Copy it. And paste it here. Done. Minimize the view. Very good. See the errors here? To avoid those errors here and the space, the way how we write, before here I'm gonna just say neglect syntax. Syntactical, let's say, given. Yes, disappeared. By writing here before the quotation and at, it has been disappeared. Now it's very fine. And the second thing is that all of this path here, see, all of this long path, until before the database name, until here, this path fully, this is the database name, this is the database itself, but before, from here until here, I'm gonna delete. Why? Because there are issues here. See, it's the space, and the others it's not completely perfectly set. And if I change the computer, what would happen? The connection will remain? No, absolutely no, because this is actually in Murad's computer. See, in Murad's computer. If I change the computer, if I take the project to another computer, it won't work. If we upload it to the online, it will not work. What I'm gonna do, this quotation I'm gonna delete. This full path. Come on, what's the problem here? This full path, I said. Oh, it's missing. Let me minimize to control it better. Yes, this full path, I said. This full path, until here, I'm gonna delete. And also this closing quotation, I'm gonna delete. So, and I come back here. Two parallel bars. How I did that? Shift and the button above the enter in your keyboard. Then I'm gonna type keyword data directory. What is this data directory? It's the location that is common for the database wherever you go. Where it is this app data. This app data, did we create it? No, we just added an object which is the database, and automatically it has been generated this way. And he given me that, if you remember, the warning message that pop up when I told you yes, tell yes. So automatically the system will point the database to read it from this data directory, from here, automatically. It will never give any error. Okay, خلاص, the connection we did it. New line here. In this new line, actually, I'm gonna start the script that gives us the possibility to use the connection and to pass our query. Actually, the query would be a display in this point, in this context here. So to start using this connection, I'm gonna just open the connection. Yes, here it is. Open. I select it. Good. I open the connection which I created. We have the connection on top. Then here we open it. Then we're going to create a command that reads the display CLR stored procedure which we created in the SQL Server. I'm gonna say SQL command. Give it any name. CMD. The CMD is user defined, which is a new SQL command again. It's a new SQL command, but the SQL command here, the SQL command we are going to pass here in between quotations. Just I'm going to tell you, it will utilize the connection con. Which con? Here it is. Is the one we created earlier. But in between here, this SQL command, what is the command to use? To execute. It's this stored procedure, disp users. I'm gonna say the same word. I'm gonna type disp users, the same word. Disp users. Users or user? Let me check. Users, yeah, the same word I said. Semicolon here at the end. Done. I did it. We pass to the next step, which is actually to say that this command, the fully, is a stored procedure. I'm gonna say here actually cmd dot command type command type equal command type dot stored procedure. Command type dot, it's a stored procedure. We specify stored procedure. That's good. We did it. Stored procedure. Yes, we specify the command we are reading from stored procedure, and the rest we are going to set a data table. A data table. User defined name. It vaults a new data table. Yeah, the same data table. Yes, means we are going to read the output of this user, this stored procedure in a form of table. So we are going to execute this read in here. We are going to execute it. So dt, the same dt is a user defined. It's a variable. Yes, here it appears. dt dot load. We are going to load this dt with the result of the CMD. The CMD is going to be executed. CMD dot execute. I'm going to say execute reader to give us the shape of a table. CMD dot execute reader. Let me check. I have an error here. What is that? Execute reader. Actually, it's a procedure. It's a procedure. Yes. So parentheses. Yes, good. Be sure that you wrote those two parentheses. Be sure, don't forget that. It's a procedure. Execute reader. Good. We are going to fill. خلاص, we read the data. We said that we are going to display as a table. We execute and we fill this variable here with data. Now we are going to fill the grid view with the result of the dt of this dt. We loaded it. This dt. We are going to fill its data here. This dt into this grid view. What is the name of this grid view? Grid view 1. I'm gonna say grid view 1 dot data source. Grid view 1 dot data source. Data source, yes, data source, here it is. Equals dt. Simply. Then the connection we opened, we close. Con dot close. Parenthesis, semicolon. Full stop. We finished. Save all now. Save this and save this. Save all. Yes. Let's come back here. Right click. View in browser. Did I write any select here? I did not. Completely. Let's see the result. It is loading. Okay, this is the button I have. Actually, you have to click this button to display the result. This is what I'm gonna do. Loading again. Nothing. It loads, but nothing. Why nothing? Because our table is empty. Already. I'll close. I'll come back to my Visual Studio, my Server Explorer, my users table. Right click just for as per I'm gonna just fill it with one record, just for test. Yeah, I'm gonna do it manually here. Why? Because just for test. And later on we may delete it. The name I'm gonna say Murad. The email I'm gonna say Murad at .com. Yes, good. Click the next line. Yes, has been saved. I'm gonna close immediately. Come back. Yes, here. Right click. View in browser again. View in browser. Now display users. I'm not able to see the result. I'm not able to see any output. Let me check the error and come back. So for this purpose, actually, I prepared this script to explain to you. Actually, remember that the stored procedure, we can call it just using its name. We have to enable the CLR to be utilized inside the SQL server, and we confirm that. We have to reconfigure the full server to admit the enabled CLR. Then after, remember that we are on a web application. The web application actually does not support DLL files, executable files, and COM files, and DLL files. They are not to run on a web platform. Remember this. So because of this, the effect or the impact of our stored procedures, they will not be actually having any impact on the web server, on the website, on web applications. So because of this reason only, as we discussed earlier at the beginning of this explanation, we are going to just move slightly, and we are going to do the same step but using a project, not a web app. We are going to use a C# project. To do so, immediately I'm preparing the interface, file, new project. We'll do the same step but very briefly, because we have everything ready already. The project actually would be C#. We're not going to do as we did last class SQL Server. We're going to do a C# project form application. I'm going to give it the name isolated transaction or transactions. Good. Yes, immediately this is our form. Let it load. Good, I'm gonna just manually reshape it. Yes. Inside of this our form, I'm gonna immediately insert grid view, data grid view. This is the one we need. I'm gonna put it apart here, reshape it, whatever. I'm gonna insert a button, all forms button, display users, right click properties, text, yes, display users, good, done. Just start with this immediately in our database. Here, because actually we are using Visual Studio, so immediately new database. It will not take time. The process is just it is an automatic group of steps. Database, service-based database, we can have this one, but I need the normal database. Yes, let's use this service-based database, no worries. I'm going to change the name to let's say users. I'm going to say users. I'm going to say users DB or users warehouse, whatever. Let's utilize, no worries. We will have the database in our Solution Explorer. Yes, here it came. Yeah, Server Explorer. Here is our database. As usual, no tables, no stored procedures. Right click on the database. I'm gonna create the procedure, new query. Create procedure. I'm gonna say new table as table. Give the name here. I'm gonna say users. Int, comma, name varchar 50, email varchar 100, then close, then go to admit. Yes, execute, complete successfully. Again, refresh, very quickly. Here it is. Let's execute it. How to execute it? Just I'm gonna type the name, new tables. I may use exec, but I'm gonna use new table just to show you. New table only. Home, highlight, execute, completed successfully. Refresh the table. What did I do? Refresh the table, yes. There's no query, I don't want any query. The table has been appeared, done, yes. Now I'm gonna close also again the same way. I'm not gonna close, just not the purpose. What we did earlier, I'm gonna copy paste the script. I will not modify because I'm gonna utilize the same script we wrote earlier. I'm gonna copy, come back to my project, double click on this button, 2 clicks. Inside the button the connection at the end I don't have grid 1 because we have data grid here. We have the name here is data grid 1. I have to respect the name, no? So here we have data grid 1, 2. The same here, data grid 1, the same. We don't have any identifier for the SQL command and SQL connection, so I'm gonna insert them here using system dot data dot, there is no dot. The second one you use in system dot SQL client. Good. Data D capital. We are not utilizing them. We're not utilizing them. I tried to make visualization to the view. We don't need now. Yes. Just to check the database path, because for the SQL connection, database, right click, properties, connection string, copy this one, come back here. Okay, I'm gonna delete this path fully, paste the new, and as we did earlier, this path before the name until the here, even the quotation I'm gonna delete. Sorry, the bar, no, here, no, and 2 vertical bars, data directory, good. It will never cause us any issue. Save all, or save this one, and save this one. It is saved already. Yeah, the procedure name I'm utilizing is start procedure, new table. No, there is no table. I'm gonna just create a second procedure to display. Remember that we are not creating table. We are displaying table, the data from the table, from in the table. So new here inside the query builder, I'm gonna create a second procedure. Let's create it down. Procedure. I'm gonna give the name disp users as. I'll tell you what, I have another solution. Not from here. Right click on the stored procedure, add a new stored procedure. Yes. No parameters. I don't want any parameters. Select no parameters also. Star from, what is the name? User. That's it, appeared. That's it, full stop. Select update. It will give us the chance to update the database. Okay, so yes, update the database. Done. Completed, successful. Ready. Updated. I come back to my database. refresh this procedures. I have my database here. The name is procedure. The name is procedure. Okay, I might have changed the name from here just to make you understand better. I'm gonna change the name from here. Even the square parenthesis, I'm gonna give it the name disp users, display users, user defined. Update, come back, refresh, display users. I'm going to utilize this procedure here, display users, where? In my C#. Copy paste the name, better. Copy, paste the name here. Very good. Brief. The users table. Do I have anything inside the users table? No. I'm gonna show table data. One. Ali at ali.com. Next line saved. Let's close. Now I come back to here. Run debug. Loading. The build has started now. This is the debug actually, because it is loading all the background needed debugging files. Few seconds. Yes. Yes, here it is. No error. Display. Yes, and here it is the result. It has brought me the result of the procedure, this CLR procedure. It has brought it to me. So the DLL and the assembly works very fine with the project, but not with an ASP.NET website. For the display, for the insert, follow the instructions and do your best to finalize the second part. Thank you for now. See you inshallah. Complete your guide, and I hope for you all the best inshallah. Thank you very much.